Hey team, Jack Delosa here, founder of The Entourage, and welcome to this episode of the Make It Happen show. Over the last 12 months, business owners everywhere have had quite a challenging journey in navigating the uncertainty of everything that's been going on in the world. For our 11th birthday here at The Entourage, we wanted to do something about that. We've created a resource center where everything you need, regardless of what stage of business you are at, is in this resource center, whether it's short courses, ebooks for how do you start, how do you grow, how do you scale beyond yourself, how do you build an organization that's scalable and sustainable that can grow beyond you. It is all there. Simply head to www.the-entourage.com/resources to access everything you need from the world's best entrepreneurs to start growing faster now. Let's get into the Make It Happen show.
To eventually landing the plum role on The Biggest Loser, which was my platform. Like, I didn't just kick back and go, hey, I'm on TV, awesome. I was like, all good things must come to an end. You know, you can't keep riding that train forever, Michelle. My brand was literally a dog's breakfast. Like, it was everywhere, all over the place. There was this logo, there was that logo, there was that color palette, there was that color palette. It was just a total mess. So we had a professional come in and basically tell me that and then pull it all together, which was a costly thing to do, but totally necessary. In business, you will fail. Get used to it. It's a common theme amongst all of us. But what it will do is it will absolutely make you stronger.
Hi everyone, welcome to this episode of the Make It Happen show. It's time for you to make it happen. Today we're joined by Michelle Bridges. She recently gave a keynote at our MIH Summit. Now Michelle's been part of our events for years. She's always an absolute crowd favourite. But what I loved about this time was she shares two stories she's never shared before. So as always in these implementation sessions, there's lots for you to apply to your business. So grab a pen, a bit of paper, be ready to take notes, and let's get into it.
Hey everyone, Michelle Bridges here. I am so excited to be a part of the Make It Happen Summit. Just want to say, hey Jack, wrote a book called Make It Happen a couple of years ago, just saying. Sorry, had to get a dig in. It's a brilliant line, make it happen, because this is what the year of 2021 is about for so many of us, coming off the back of a very tough and challenging year. To be able to go, I'm going to make this happen this year for 2021, and I'm going to get with a tribe of people like the Entourage to give me inspiration, to give me ideas, to give me gold nuggets, to go away, polish them up, and freaking make it happen. So let's go. Now, I'm pretty much constantly on a daily basis being asked, Michelle, how do I get started? How do I start my fitness, start my nutrition? How do I get started on my weight training program? How do I lose weight? How do I gain weight? How do I start writing a book? How do I start a business? How do I grow a business? How do I grow a brand? A band even. The list goes on. And I always sometimes think to myself, not everybody that's asking me these questions, but maybe some of them are asking them because they're looking for a quick fix. They might be looking for that magic bullet. So inevitably, I'll always end up asking them another question back, and that would be, what can you sustain over the long haul? You know, what excites you or what fuels you? What's something that you can do consistently for a long time? And the word there, consistent, it sounds boring and benign, but it really, that's the key. And it's the key, I believe, not just in business, but right across the board. So if you were to think of your worlds in your life, I'm always going to say health and fitness is one of my worlds. What can you do to sustain over the long haul? Is it surfing, tai chi, pole dancing, bike riding, going on a park run every Saturday morning with your son or your daughter or your bestie? You know, what is it that you can do that you can sustain over a long period of time? And that, again, if crosses over into your family and relationships and friends world. You know, what can you do that will sustain you over the long haul? Is it a Wednesday night date night with your significant other in order to reconnect with them? Or is it a Friday night movie and pizza night with your tribe, your family, or your friends to reconnect with them? Something that, again, you can, you know, chug away and tick the box, so to speak, week in and week out, and it's sustainable. When it comes to business, same question. And for example, with my own businesses, every Monday, and we've sustained this for a long time, every Monday, we all get together around the table in the kitchen area of the office. Some of us Zoom in and we'll do a WIP, a work in progress meeting. And we go around each person and they give us 2, maybe 3 highlights of what they need to complete this week. And then we kind of all know where everyone's going and what they're all doing. And what that might even do is spark a conversation between 2 people later after the WIP. Hey, I heard you're doing X, Y, and Z. Well, yeah, I'm doing A, B, C. Maybe we can hook up this week and help each other out. It's a nice way to get the team really motivated and going on a Monday. Or you may reach out to your broader communities, such as schools, shelters, women's communities, or family communities, to reconnect with your core values. Now, that's something that I can sustain for long term if I feel like I'm doing something good for my community. And you may be able to tap into that with your business. So, there's many different worlds that you all have. What can you do over the long haul that's sustainable and that it fuels you? It gives you joy. It sparks joy in your life. I really believe that the answers to these questions are the birthplace of consistency. And consistency is it. It knocks it out of the park, particularly when you want to talk about something like brand. Brand it's powerful when it's consistent. And I will share with you a story that I haven't quite ever really talked about before. And that is, it was several years ago when I was building my brand. I was doing Biggest Loser. I was starting up my 12-week body transformation. I was doing fitness clothing in retail, equipment in retail, writing books. And my brand was literally a dog's breakfast. Like, it was everywhere, all over the place. There was this logo, there was that logo, there was that color palette, there was that color palette. It was just a total mess. So we had a professional come in and basically tell me that and then pull it all together, which was a costly thing to do, but totally necessary. Now, if I'd known that from the get-go, I would have saved myself a lot of time and money, but they were able to give us what is called a lookbook and use a similar font and use a similar color palette so that when people see us, they recognize us time and time and time again. So, consistency with brand is pivotal to business. So back to you. I want to ask you what you have energy for, what fires you up, what makes you passionate and gets you feeling, super excited. But also a question I want to add to that is, what do you not have energy for? And I'll come back to that. It's just as important to know. So my girlfriend, she's always complaining about the fact that her 15-year-old son, for love or money, she cannot get him out of bed. Like, she's like, Michelle, school days, I can't get him out of bed. The weekends are even worse. He sleeps until 10 a.m. However, if the surf's up, this kid's a surfer, if the surf's up, he's out of bed by 4:30, making toast for himself. She's like, Michelle, who knew? He knew where the toaster was, and it's like he's making it for himself, and out the door by 5:30 with his mates, off surfing. She's like, what? And it just makes me think, yeah, that's his jam. That's his thing. Like, he's prepared to get out of bed that early for something that he's really passionate about. Now, I've never felt the calling of a cold, grey, sharky ocean at 5 a.m. Never. It's not my jam. But my jam, I was that surfer, except my surf was Lycra, high tops, leg warmers, disco anthems, and aerobics, and lots of people doing it together. That was my jam. That was my calling. And I guess what I've been able to do, very fortunately for me, is I've been able to extend that into my adult life and into my business life, even though my parents and my grandparents were always saying, Michelle, when are you going to get a real job? You can't keep jumping up and down in Lycra forever. Still doing it. Thanks, Mum. So that's been an extension for me for my life moving forward with my businesses. So from Nelson Bay to Alice Springs to Sydney, where I cut my teeth honing my craft, being a personal trainer and working in the fitness industry, to eventually landing the plum role on The Biggest Loser, which was my platform. Like, I didn't just kick back and go, hey, I'm on TV, awesome. I was like, all good things must come to an end. You know, you can't keep riding that train forever, Michelle. You might get one season out of this show, so you got to work now. So I got busy writing books, prepping ideas around retail clothing and how I was going to approach that. And I was using the Biggest Loser as my springboard to get out there and do it. So I was very fortunate that opportunity came around, but then I went out and created more. So for example, I could see a gap in the fitness clothing market. I'd been working for 2 international global fitness companies, clothing companies. The last one was Adidas. Very proud of the work I did with them, but I humbly and graciously left that company because I could see that, one, it wasn't speaking to me. It wasn't speaking to my customer. And I was trying to get the whole of Australia moving. And the whole of Australia can't afford always $120 for a pair of tights and $80 for a top and $250 for a pair of shoes. I'm trying to reach my mums with a mortgage with 3 children, but I want them to have great technical, amazing clothing. And I've been wearing this stuff since I was 14, so I can see that there's a gap in the market and we can do it. So I marched myself off to Big W and I pitched the concept to do this. I got a lot of eyebrows raised from people in my industry and those that were saying, you're leaving Adidas and you're going to go to Big W. And I'm like, that's exactly what I'm doing. Because that's the market that I know I can reach. And I'm also pitching a concept, another gap in the market that I could see. You know, they say that necessity is the mother of invention. I'm working on a show where there's women 18, size 18 and above, and there's no clothing for them. So when I made the pitch to Big W, I said, and I'm adamant that I also would like to do fitness clothing that ranges up to size 26. And no one was doing it. And that was a fairly big gamble for them. But I was pretty damn assured it was going to work. And it paid off. You know, we're still 10 years now in the market. And we have women every day that thank us for providing them with clothing that goes beyond size 14, because that's where many of the fitness clothing apparel stops. So that was a great, I guess, gap in the market that I was able to expose purely by just doing my thing, working at grassroots, working with my people, working with my customers, listening to what they needed, watching what was going on. And, you know, the concept of doing plus size fitness clothing was not to earn money. It was to make these women happy. That was my ultimate goal. And then, you know, the money comes. It's not specifically thinking about how can I make, you know, more. The thing is, though, I couldn't have done everything that I've done over the last 30 plus years if I didn't actually enjoy what I was doing. You know, if the topic had been astrophysics, gardening, crickets, yeah, it does nothing for me, nothing. But because it was my jam, and I love it so much, and I still get really passionate about it. Don't get me wrong, I still bitch every day about sometimes having to work. But mostly I love it, and I still get out of bed and get pretty excited about what I do. So there's no way I could be doing that for 30 plus years if it was something that I didn't enjoy. My question back to you is, what fuels you? What excites you? And some of you may already have your businesses up and running. Where is that 15-year-old surfer inside of you? You know, what is it that excites you? And I put this question out to everyone. So it'll land with some of you and it won't land with others. That's cool. Who were you in the playground? Or who were you in your teenage years? Or who were you in your 20s? What was something that really freaking got you going? And can you link that back inside your business or even start a business from it? Now, I had a woman come up to me after I'd posed this question and she said, Michelle, I've been in business for 10 years. I find sometimes that I'm getting a little bit stale, but you ignited something in me when you asked that question. When I was a kid, I loved photography. Like it was my passion and I've let it go. So what I've chosen to do is take out some of the work that I do as the CEO of my business, like the stuff that I don't like doing. Let's just say, well, for me, it's accounting. I think hers was too. Pass more of that stuff onto my bookkeepers and accountants, and I'm going to inject myself into doing the photography and the photography marketing inside my pamphlets and leaflets. I'm going to do the photography, and I'm really excited about that. And it's still providing a great service for my business, and it's also giving me something that really fires me up. as well as my business fires me up, but this just gives me that extra little spark. So that's the question to you. Who were you in the playground? Who were you as a teenager? Who were you in your 20s? What was something that fired you up that maybe you can link into your present day? And I'm definitely not someone who likes to hang around in the past. And I'm certainly not someone that tries to push too far into the future, because I do try to keep myself present. But as a business owner, you do have to forward project. And I sometimes think too, you need to look backwards to move forwards. So take a look.
Hey team, Jack again. Just another invitation to make sure you're jumping into our resource center to be guided by the world's best entrepreneurs for how you can grow and scale great companies. Head to www.the-entourage.com/resources to make it happen. Now, let's get back into the show.
So that all being said, it's all well and good to know what excites you and fires you up. And if you're lucky enough to be able to extend that into your business, great. But I also feel like I need to know what I'm really shithouse at. That's right, shithouse at analytics, at accounting, finance, data, IT. I know I'm in an IT business. I'm crap at IT. I'm so bad at it. I get under the hood and I get in there and I learn about it, but I'm completely honest and open to the fact that I cannot be all things to all people, and that there's some things that I'm just really shithouse at, and I just need to accept that. And in fact, I would be doing myself, my staff, and my customers a disservice if I thought I could do it. So whilst I will get under the hood and, get a bit of an idea about what's going on in the background analytically in code for my IT business, or I'll get under the hood of the accounts and finances and forward projections and looking at, budgeting. It's not really my jam, and I get people in. This is where I've had to really work at getting key people in who are good at what they do, who are able to help me. And one of those people over the years has been my accountant. He's been with me for probably 15 years. And in fact, I have a story that's quite funny. When I started 12-week body transformation 11 years ago, I said to him, I've got this great concept. It's going to be amazing. It's the program. And I ran him through what the 12-week body transformation program was about. And it goes for 12 weeks, hence 12 WBT. And we start together and we finish together. So we all walk through the doors together. Everybody signs up and registers. And then I close the doors. We do the 12 weeks together. We have a great party at the end. We celebrate. And then we reopen the doors for the next round. And he looked at me and went, that makes absolutely no commercial business sense whatsoever, Michelle. It's ridiculous. I'm like, what do you mean? So effectively, you're going to shut your business for 3 months, and then you'll reopen it at the end of the 3 months, and then you'll close it again. That's how you're going to do that. I'm like, yeah, that's the whole concept, because you're closing your business for 3 months. It doesn't make any commercial sense. So I sat with that for a while, but I really had to listen to my gut instinct, because that for me was what I know. I've worked at grassroots. I've worked with people. I know how to build that sense of team and camaraderie. And you do that by bringing people together, moving towards a common cause all together. That's your tribe. So I said, nope, I'm adamant. That's what we're doing. And, this is 10 years ago. It was a totally different era back then. And it worked. It was actually, dare I say, a stroke of genius. Not that I even realized it was a stroke of genius at the time, but what it did do, it did build the camaraderie and the team building. But what it also did was it had people going, let me in. Why can't I be a part of this? I don't want to have to wait. And it was kind of cool. So it really built a spark. Fast forward 10 years, 11 years now, things have changed, and my business has morphed and changed over those 10 years as well. And we're moving more into an always on prospect, because that's what people want. They want it now. But back then, I went against my accountant, and it worked. But that being said, he's still with me now, and he still gives me great advice around really understanding and knowing your customer and getting that data. So we're always digging into the data and digging into our customers and what they want and how they want it and when they want it, so that we're able to provide. Now, we make a lot of mistakes. That's what businesses do. But we also, I guess, get a lot of wins, because we're constantly tapping into our customer base and asking and looking for what it is that they want, and being able to change. I think in business is quite important, to say, all right, well, we did that 10 years ago and that worked then, but it's a different time now. We probably need to pivot, and we probably need to freshen it. So when it comes to building and protecting your brand, I have one of my favorite quotes. I know everybody does quotes, but I love this quote. And it's from Grandmaster Oogway from one of my favorite movies, Kung Fu Panda. And he says, when will you realize the more you want, the less you have? And I love that because it makes me think. It really sparked an idea for me when I was doing one of my other keynotes about what you say no to is as equally as important as what you say yes to. And that for me is really powerful. I think we get hardwired to saying yes, 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 yes. And then we end up feeling overwhelmed, overworked, and resentful. So to Grandmaster Oogway, saying what you say no to is as equally as important as what you say yes to. And when I think about that, I think about this moment, and I honestly have never spoken about this before, and I hope I don't get myself in trouble, but anyway, I was doing Biggest Loser, and we were only like maybe second season. It was pretty early days in my career, and it was a great job, and I didn't want to lose it. And we had the network come to us and say, so we've got a new sponsor for the show. And we were like, right, what is it? And they said, so the sponsor's Domino's Pizzas. Okay. And we would like you to be an ambassador for them. Right. And it's a healthy pizza. Okay. So, and they're offering a relatively healthy check. So I'm brand new to my role. I'm just trying to get a business, the 12-week body transformation, off the ground. I have purchased my first home in my life, and I'm mortgaged to my eyeballs. I don't have really any money, and that money would be extremely handy. And I'm getting a little bit of pressure from my network of this fantastic job of my dreams to say yes. So I really had to think about it. I really had to dig in and think, who am I? Who am I trying to present myself to the rest of the country? Who am I building? What's the brand? Who am I? And so I said no. And I thought, please don't lose your job. Please don't lose your job, which I didn't. Thankfully, they understood. I don't think I made a lot of friends by doing it, but I kept my job. And I also kept a little bit of my moral compass intact because, like I said, that money would have been extremely handy. But I knew if I was going to build a brand that had some future and had some strength and foundation and credibility, that was something that I just had to say no to. So what you say no to is equally as important as what you say yes to. So in the world of health and fitness, there's a thing called train to fail. Now, I don't know whether any of you have heard of it, but it's mostly done with weight training, strength training. So you'll do as many reps as you can with a really heavy weight, and you'll just keep going until you literally cannot do one more rep. I know, sounds like good times, right? You absolutely fail. And the reason that philosophy is still around today is that what you're doing is you're breaking down your muscle tissue, and then it regrows stronger. So you train to fail so that tomorrow or in a week's time, you're stronger. So I love this philosophy when I align it with business. And I take so many of my training principles and align it to business. Training to fail makes you stronger. In business, you will fail. Get used to it. It's a common theme amongst all of us. But what it will do is it will absolutely make you stronger. I could sit here for an hour and tell you how many fails I've had. There's plenty. Probably longer than an hour, actually. There's plenty. And I've always tried to, once I've had my mini meltdown and cried my eyes out and thrown something at the wall, once I get over that, then I realize I'll trawl through the ashes and there's something to learn. And it will inevitably make you stronger. It sounds so cliche, but it's true. And it's exactly the same philosophy that we use in training. There's been many business fails that I've had that I've learned from. And that's just the way, just the way it rolls. You want to try to, again, if I go back to me talking about the plan and the strategy and the forward thinking and the forward projecting, you want to be covering those bases off as best you can so that you don't have these fails, but ultimately they're going to come and you just have to be, I guess, ready for it and learn from it, most importantly.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of the Make It Happen show. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. And it doesn't need to end there. We've actually gone and grabbed a whole bunch of extra resources for you. Behind the scenes footage, videos from this and all the other episodes, as well as show notes that you can grab for free. Just head along to www.the-entourage.com/podcast and you can grab all those extra resources. Thanks for tuning in, and I cannot wait to introduce you to our next guest on the next episode.